Yeah, she's smart, so I think this is not.
I don't expect it.
Tony's the only one who.
That's the only one. Yes.
But if you come through with a non-unanimous vote, if there is a vote for anything, and then it just goes forward with no recommendation. We've done that before. Just, no, can't make it, we're still made in board, you know? And,
Now, there goes.
All right.
Hi, guys.
All right.
that's the way it should be.
Yep.
Yeah, although you see, come on.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. Hi.
Well, I
Congrats.
Not as I need to
Thank
be.
you. Yeah, I'm streaming.
Just you.
You're the
As
only
well.
one that matter.
Hey, how are you? Good.
For all those in the audience, we are live streaming now, so just remind you that we're being filmed.
Are you going over to that Queenie's house? It's at the Save All building, 7 to 8.
I'm leaving for Europe tomorrow, Ray.
Oh my God, really? Where are you going?
With three
Three
racers.
nights in Venice.
Wow.
Cruise through
You know what?
Russia, Greece.
Give that one to Tony when he's running because it's so loud. With he needs a
Athens.
Okay.
Correct.
he needs a pad normally with that.
2 nights there. It's 15 days from Saturday.
Oh, shit.
Wow. Who's taking care of the house?
Anybody check out that wine walk they had?
Kids?
Yeah,
Oh my God, 1,200 people.
girlfriend, she's going to stop and water the plants.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, awesome.
He runs with diesel.
That's great. Is it a tour?
No, just
Good. It was a weekend. It was great. I
Me and
mean,
my buddies from
you know.
college.
$5,000.
oh, so one of the smoothest rides.
Right.
I think because it was just after a storm.
Pretty much.
You know that usually settles everything down. Great.
Computer savvy,
Yeah.
Customers will say, yeah, well, you need
water taxis for
$60,000 an hour or whatever.
Oh my God.
All right,
I
open
got
it
nothing
in.
booked till next October. I'm getting itchy. I don't know.
I'm out
Leaving
in
tomorrow
Jamaica in
Where you going?
December.
3 nighs in Venice.
This time of year, it's starting to, people are starting to roll into stuff for winter.
Oh, down the backside.
Front end loader.
Greece,
Dubrovnik.
Istanbul,
Oh.
Athens.
Oh.
Then fly from Athens to Munich for 2 nights.
For Oktoberfest?
His problem is because he can't. Like that 7 mechanics.
What cruise line did you?
Right up the bypass.
Did you book it through a company or did you just do this on your own?
Richfield.
Savvy. Well,
Yeah, that's my son.
our traveling.
Matt,
He
Kevin.
got most of the big
Yeah,
details.
Kevin Schlum and Matt Schlum.
My buddy took
No,
care of
no,
all
no.
the details.
Kevin Schlum and Matt Schlum. That's the
Do you have any idea which tents you're going to go in or anything?
We have reservations on one, I can't remember.
They're a good pair. Kevin hates the paperwork.
And we've got B&B,
Yeah, and Matt's good mechanic, but he's gotten to the point now he doesn't have time.
Venice,
You know,
sleep,
office half the day.
3,000 square feet.
Grease.
I've seen pictures, it looks great.
You're going to have the time of your
Oh my God, it's third.
Wow. Sacrifice, right?
He
Yeah.
started that,
That is beautiful.
7 years
I mean, that's a
Seven.
bucket list trip.
started the business, grandson was born.
I've wanted to do the backside of the road for
1,200 square foot machine.
and I just can't get around to it. I just, the port. There's
Okay, I've got 7 o'clock.
It's like kind of
There's only a couple places in the whole town.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please, Cindy. Here.
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 Here,
Okay, welcome everyone. This is a meeting of the Planning Board of the Town of Lancaster. Please keep in mind that we are an advisory and recommending board and not a final decision-making body.
we will take a look at the minutes from the August 20th Planning Board meeting. Ask the board members if there's any additions, deletions, or comments. Hearing none, look for a motion then.
Move to accept.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. All right, we'll move on to the communications list. Okay, we'll move on to our one case of the evening. Project number 2954, Wood Spring Suites.
So, good evening. My name is Peter Bars with BME Associates, the civil site engineer for the project. Appearing tonight on behalf of Indus Hospitality Group, with me also is John Ott, the Vice President at Indus, and Daryl Martin, the project architect. We're here this evening to discuss and present to you the minor subdivision application and the site plan application for the proposed Wood Springs Suites Hotel to be located on Maple Drive. We have been here a few times, obviously, over the course of the year, but we'll give you a brief overview of the site plan. So the parcel is 3.9 acres. The proposal for the subdivision component is to subdivide this and to create a 2.5 acre lot and a 1.4 acre lot. The 2.5 acre lot would be conveyed to Indus for their use to develop and operate the proposed Wood Spring Suites Hotel. Property is located about 900 feet east of Transit Road. It's bounded by the Red Roof Inn property to the west, a vacant land to the south and the east, and the New York State Thruway to the north. Property is zoned general commercial, and the proposed hotel use is a permissible or allowed use within that GC zoning district. The proposal for the hotel is a 4-story 122-room hotel, which would have a building footprint of around 12,500 square feet. We point out for the board's knowledge that the Zoning Board of Appeals on September 11th of 2025 did issue a area variance to allow the proposed building height at 48 feet. The hotel will be served by a single access drive that'll come off Maple Drive. That's been sited, so it does provide adequate site distance to the west and to the east. Trip generation and trip distribution information as it relates to traffic generation from the hotel was provided in the engineer's report that was submitted with the application. It was also provided to the New York State DOT regional office. During the seeker process, the New York State DOT did provide a response back to this board, or to the town, I should say, indicating that the proposed trip generation and distribution would not result in any impact on the surrounding highway network, and that no further study nor mitigation would be required. The layout has been prepared to conform with all of the lot standards criteria of the GC's zoning district as it relates to setbacks and lot coverage. As you can see on the plan, the access comes in. It's a full circulation around the proposed building. Fire lanes are being provided on the west and the east side of the building. The engineer's report did include the necessary turning template diagrams to show that the emergency vehicles can circulate through this property safely. Parking is provided on site for 126 vehicles. It includes ADA spaces and EV charging stations. The code requires a minimum parking of 1 space per room, or 122 spaces. So this proposed parking plan does meet the code requirements for parking. The hotel will be served by water, sanitary sewer service, gas, electric, and data from existing facilities that are located along Maple Drive. As it relates to the water supply system, water supply calculations were provided to the County Water Authority. They did review those calculations and did acknowledge that adequate pressure is available to serve the hotel from the current system that the authority has in this area. As it relates to the sanitary sewer system, as required by the county sewer district, the capacity analysis was prepared, including the downstream analysis that the county requires. That information was provided to them, and they subsequently did review that report and confirm that capacity does exist downstream to receive the anticipated wastewater flows from the hotel. As it relates to stormwater management, a stormwater management plan has been prepared in compliance with the New York State DEC Stormwater Design Manual, its general permit for construction, and along with the Town of Lancaster standards. The post-development runoff will be attenuated through an on-site stormwater chamber system, utilizing the highly permeable infiltration rates of the soils on site, where such that the discharge ultimately will be to the north to the existing drainage system that goes along Maple Drive and ultimately northbound under the New York State Thruway. The discharge rates from the property will not exceed the current existing peak discharge rates from this property as required by the DEC regulations. We did provide, as part of this design, a landscape plan with regards proposing landscape plantings through the parking area and along the building foundation. One of the critical items that we worked with the town on, and this board especially, was with regards to the ERPOD and the wooded area, and the fact that the lower 1.1 acre of the property was within the ERPOD. We provided information as it relates to the mitigation or addressing of the clearing. A tree study was completed, provided to this board, and the town subsequently had a third party complete another tree study, and the results were concurred with each other. As we provided all of this information to you during the seeker process, as it relates to the code, there were 63 trees identified that will be removed, that were identified as of fair or good quality within the ERPOD component of the property. The code in the landscape standards calls for a 2-to-1 replacement, and in the code section regarding commercial development, it requires mitigation of $300 per acre, or in this case 1.1 acres, $330, but we discount that. We approach this from the 2-to-1 ratio in the fact of 63 trees identified being removed through the tree study, equivalent to 126 trees. New trees through current pricing and nurserying is at $300 a tree, so that results in a value of new plantings to be around $37,800. The landscape plan that was prepared and provided as certified by a landscape architect, the value of those plantings are around $41,000, so there is a consistency between the value of the mitigation being required versus the landscaping being provided on the site. As it relates to project site lighting, a lighting plan was provided in the site plan application also, and that's proposed LED dark sky compliant fixtures on code maximum allowed pole heights of 15 feet, along with identifying some building mounted lighting at the entrances. The lighting plan included the photometric plots to show that there'd be no light spill beyond the limits of the property that the lighting would be contained. Just in summary, as we mentioned, we've been in this process for a while now. We've appeared before this board 5 previous times, going through a lot of the information as it related to seeker. As part of that, what was verified was the wetlands were delineated in a jurisdictional determination issued showing that there were no wetlands on the property. They were on the parcel to the east. There was no potential impact as it relates to historic or cultural resources, flora, fauna, or habitat. Such as all of that seeker work, it resulted in the town board issuing a negative declaration at their July 16th meeting. And then, as we mentioned, we subsequently did obtain the Zoning Board of Appeals variance for the building height. So as the process plays out here, as you're all familiar with, our next step is to appear for this board for the referral and recommendation back to the town board for the minor subdivision and site plan approval. So with that, we can answer any questions, or myself or Mr. Martin or Mr. Rock could also.
Thank you for that very thorough and accurate recap. I'm sure it's been, it's been a while since we've had a chance to talk to you, so it's good to reflect us and bring us up to speed. Any questions or comments from the board?
I do have a comment, I suppose. The tree mitigation, the $37,000 to the $40,000. Is it, I'm sorry, I'm not fully versed in that text. Is it written either or is it at our discretion? Are you aware, Emily?
That, is it either or, the 300 or?
For commercial, I mean, it sounds like there's a separation for commercial.
So, as we read through the landscape portion of the zoning code,
Right.
it's, pretty clear is a 2-to-1 replacement, 2.5-inch caliber, 6 inches above the ground.
Yeah.
So, looking at the tree schedule, I see 13, looks like the site could be replaced.
So what was the reference you made to the price of the tree? I mean, I understand what tree
Sure.
costs.
Earlier discussion, it was a phone discussion on suggested ways to mitigate that, and it was implied that the reforestation fee was the method to do that, when in fact the reforestation fee was established to provide street trees on the project based on the acreage of the site.
Right.
Just as with single-family homes, there's a nominal fee per lot, so the town could then plant 2 trees per lot in the right-of-way reforest of areas of public lands or right-of-way areas. I don't believe it was ever meant to be a mitigation effort for the landscape portion of the plan.
Yeah, for me, I would like to know where our stance is on that official. I'm sorry, Rebecca, of course, you know more
Well,
than
the other
us.
thing is that the landscape regulations require you to plant native species, and there are none. The trees, native species and trees. You don't have a single native tree on. You have cultivars, which are all, they're all fancy schmancy little changed species here. And
So in other words, you gotta have an actual mitigation, not a value of mitigation.
see, what I'm seeing is that the value of mitigation is blown up because you can get a lot of trees for a lot less money than what you're telling us. And the 2.5-inch caliper, you can, I don't know how much you think you're paying for them, but you can get a lot of trees for a lot less than that. Just depending on the time of where you shop. I don't see anything here that says he's met the landscaping plan. And unless you have an alternative way to get around the regulations, I can't vote for this.
Matt, it's your opinion then, your belief that we cannot offset the cost?
I don't see that provision in
Yeah, I don't think
that
so.
portion of the landscape code. I mean, we have to make sure that we're looking at both of these items that we're discussing. They're two separate entities.
Two separate entities, sure.
The reforestation effort is not a landscaping requirement
Yep.
that's laid out for the design.
John, does that answer your question?
It does. It leads to a follow-up. In the event that the subdivision does not occur, I know that's important, obviously, cost and futures and all of that. If the subdivision does not occur, does that offer more opportunity and space to mitigate trees? Does anyone know the layout? I haven't looked that far to the east and the south of what's left.
I guess the question that would be asked is, do you feel as if you have the ability to plant 126 trees on this site? If it's subdivided, right? I mean, that's sort of what you're asking me.
And if it's not?
Yeah.
And if it's not, does it still move forward with the possibility of that? Because let's call this what it is. It's something that the town people that are close are, I mean, they've been coming in waves. There's opposition to it. They're concerned that the next step and the next step and the next step breeds it all down. I mean, it's all heard. Everyone's heard. And I also feel like if you own something, you should have the opportunity to take advantage and profit. And I don't want to hold anyone back in evolution of the town. But if the subdivision does not occur, that gives more of a buffer area for the people should this be able to roll, right? I mean, is it feasible that if it's not subdivided, that those trees and not that you would go through with the project if it's not subdivided? But is there area then to replant? Does anyone know? Has anyone taken a deep look at that?
It's pretty thoroughly canopied. In other words, it's pretty mature, so for a tree to live, it has to have sunlight, water, and air, and it's dark under there.
Yeah.
So how would you plant 126 trees?
Even in the
in
untouched
the
areas?
Untouched area, and then the whole thing would have to be set aside in perpetuity.
To maintain the tree's life afterwards. So that would be a requirement as well.
And the property could never be divided or developed, the
Gotcha.
rest of it. So, you have to figure something out. I just can't, and then the DEC talked about if this went through, what months do not cut trees in.
Yeah, the bats, yeah, we're familiar with that, with the battery.
But I don't see how trying to buy your way out of a mitigation plan with by quoting the price of trees and how much money we'd spend on Rudbeckia, which is...
So I guess we're questioning a couple of things, right?
Sure.
The native species is one of the things
Yep.
that Rebecca brought up. The other one is the mitigation strategy. Do you have anything from the town that says that you went down the right path? Because it seems like our conversations here don't support that.
So, and I guess I wanted to wait for this discussion to wrap up. So what I would recommend is, and actually I think you used a very important word, which was strategy. Because what is the best strategy to address this issue? You bring up a very good point. I will admit, we have not looked at, because at the end of the day, this is a 3.9 acre tax parcel. So I will admit, we did not look. Were there areas outside of this development footprint on the rest of the 3.9 acres to plant additional trees? So that's something basically what I'm saying, we want to take this back and look at that strategy, because in my opinion, I believe the best way to approach this is a mix, so to speak, because if we're going to address the standard to replace trees removed, let's be sure that in doing so, for lack of a better term, the best bang for our buck. And my point being is that can be a combination of, do you enhance plantings on the site itself? But also, are there other there are other priorities within the town where landscaping could be beneficial? We've worked in communities, for instance, that, certain communities, they have a tree fund, so to speak, so that they have the ability to take money that would be what was in a situation like this, and transfer that because maybe they're going through a major park improvement plan or something. That's one of the ways municipalities fund those public improvements through this. So I guess what I'd like to say is definitely on that we'd like to work. And you bring up another good point, Mr. Chairman, because we did have some discussions about what is the best direction to head with the town. Discussions with the town, best direction to head on this. So I would like to have get those notes pulled back together.
Fair.
and come back with a mitigation plan.
Okay.
A mitigation plan is something I agree with Rebecca, I need to see in order to move forward. I know that there, like, again, I want to listen to the people, and I know that we need to address every concern. And that's one, whatever that is.
Would this mitigation plan include mitigation off-site? Is that what you're suggesting?
Well, it's an option, yes.
Well, I don't know that it's an option, though.
Yeah.
I don't know that it is with this, the way this is written, our town code. I don't know that.
That's a fair
I'm gonna
statement.
dig, I mean.
Yeah,
I
we're gonna do the
expect
same.
to, But
Yep.
now I'm gonna dig in.
We will do the same.
Yeah.
No, I understand that.
Because obviously, we go by the letter. I mean, if there's a way to do it, of course. But if there's not, we have been pretty hard and fast trying not to bend at this point. Like, you know, we've seen it with sidewalks, we've seen it with, I mean, we're just trying to stick to what's been fought and established.
And also to clarify the native species. So the landscape plan should the overall landscape plan should be 70% native, at least 70% native. And that's right out of the first bullet point, the standard criteria.
And what I was going to say is, please don't lose track lose what John was saying earlier. The fact that we are listening to what all the residents have to say. We're very cognizant and want to make sure that we take into consideration everything that they have to say as well. And we'll be listening again, I'm sure.
The fact is, not every project is well loved, but if they move forward and meet, well, it's the truth. But if they're reasonable and move forward meeting the standards that the people before me have established, then there's not opposition that can be had. It just isn't. So, you know.
You meet code, you meet code.
Right. That's where it's written. Sorry.
Any other questions or comments from the board? No? Ed, anything from engineering?
No, engineering is fine. Prior to any town board, they'll need stormwater agreement and Erie County Sewer and Water Authority. We don't need their permits because that's required for building permit anyways, but what we look for is at least an acknowledgement email or something that says, hey, your plans are acceptable, you can move forward.
Okay.
One comment you made earlier was that you have gone through and addressed all of the comments from the town. There's a couple on here, Matt, that you put in your, that I don't know that have been addressed yet. The individual deed descriptions regarding the subdivision of the lot are not provided for the original land proposed parcels. And then pedestrian access to amenities along Transit Road is limited, and a plan for public sidewalk may be suitable along the south side of Maple.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure that those were brought out again. Emily, legal, I know, and welcome back, by the way.
Thank you. I don't have anything to add, thank you.
Matt, anything from building?
I'll just echo those comments that you made, and I'm trusting that our legal department has that information in hand, or has at least a discussion over the sort of maintenance agreement based on the drainage plan, as well as the deed descriptions, so that's correct.
Okay. At this point, we'll open up to the public and listen to any comments that anybody would like to have, please. Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is J.P. Zeiss, 41 Maple Drive, Bowmansville. Being a layman and pretty much ignorant to the process, being new to the whole situation, I'm a little concerned that I think what I took from what has been discussed here, especially in terms of the mitigation, I think it was pretty clear, or it seems to be clear, when you say 2 for 1 mitigation of the trees, it seemed to be pretty clear, even for somebody like myself who doesn't seem to be, I'm not informed, but it seemed to be pretty clear. And based on that, it's a little disappointing, and I think it really speaks to an attitude that for that to be something pretty clear. I think there's an attitude here that, well, maybe we can get by and present something that really doesn't meet the standard for what we need. And is that not a portent of maybe things to come? If that's the attitude, if we're starting this way, what can we get by with? How can we cheap out? What is that going to say about the future and how they maintain their business? I think it's pretty clear. I think that also is pretty clear about the attitude with which these people are coming with to put something on our street we do not want. We've also spoken about safety. That has not been discussed. There's no data on how will this impact safety? How will this impact the cost to our firemen and our police when we already have the red roof in, and that is also causing problems, and we understand that's a fact of life, but will this not increase that? And what is the cost to the town? Where's the data on that? Is that not important? So those are just some of my concerns, but I appreciate the time.
Thank you very much. Would anyone else care to speak? Sure.
Good evening, everybody. My name is John Spees. I live at 24 Maple Drive in Bowmansville. Good evening to all. I'd like to have a show of hands. How many people live on Maple? Okay. And out of that, how many times have you seen the police fly down the street due to something going on at the end of Maple Drive? Okay. Very concerning. That's number one. Number two, there are no sidewalks. The traffic has gotten, I've been on Maple since 21 years ago. Traffic's been much worse every single year. Now you're going to add a 2-unit project there when there's already police issues, as Mr. Zeit said. Traffic's already bad. I was in my house when the accident happened up on the thruway. I couldn't get out of my driveway. There was bumper-to-bumper traffic from Transit to Genesee. Took maybe 2 hours? Yeah. About 2 hours to unboondoggle that. I know Genesee and the rest were busy, but more than often, the traffic on Maple Drive, ever since most likely the resurfacing about 2 years ago, has gotten worse. The speeding on the street is bad. There are no speed bumps there. Yet in Kaisertown and Buffalo, most of the side streets have speed bumps. And that's because there is no control with people speeding. Nothing against the police, but they can't be there 24/7 controlling that. That's one factor. And there are a lot of kids on the street. They ride bikes, they walk, and yet the traffic's getting worse. And this project will add to that. This project will make the streets less safe. And it seems like we're talking about trees. What about the people that live there? Most of the people here are against it for the reasons that I'm just stating. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Sure.
Kathy Jackie, 112 Maple Drive. I just want to reiterate to you guys all, just to keep in mind, all of our comments, communication that has been provided to you all over the last 9-10 months this has been going on. Again, I did send you a video of that traffic we had. Yes, it was a horrific bus crash, but it only proves that people nowadays with GPS, it shows our street as a cut through. We had semis, buses, horse trailer was in my front of my yard for quite a while. The horse is not happy about it. And they're heavy, overweight vehicles that are not allowed on our street. When we did have our street redone several years ago, we had thought they were going to scrape it and repave over it. I was told by the highway superintendent at that time, they don't want to do that because the sewers underneath are hundreds of years old, that it could crush them. So how much more traffic do we need? And I don't understand how the water is saying that our pressure is horrible. So if the sewer lines are fragile, where they can't scrape, they just keep piling up. So now my driveway has a big dip instead of evening it all out because of the sewers underneath. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Anyone else? No? Okay. Anything else from the board?
So we would request that this be tabled so that we can go back, take this input, and I understand, or I should say we understand exactly what the board's concern is and what you're looking for. So we'll go back.
I think that we could certainly accommodate that. So look for a motion.
Motion to table.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anything that the board would like to discuss? I did send board members a copy of the early look at next year's potential schedule. If you want to take a look at that and get any comments to me, that'd be great. We'll get that put together as quickly as we can. Other than that, I don't have anything. And anything from engineering?
Nope.
Emily, anything from legal?
No.
Matt, anything other that you'd like to discuss?
If you'll entertain me.
Absolutely.
So last night, you attended with myself this local government training on ag-friendly zoning and ag overlay districts. And I was very pleased that we are a right farm community. We've had decades of development pressure that eliminated a lot of contributing farms, but they were all within the sewer district. So it was a little bit of conflict, and I tried to rationalize that last night in my mind. But at the same time, development does happen. We do understand that. But moving forward, I thought this again was another good training. It was an excellent resource. The slides were provided, and I'm hoping we'll get them out to everybody that's interested. But for future planning of the town, especially in our agricultural residential districts without sewer. Because we have not several, but a few good contributing farms left in the town that could benefit from the latest trends that we're seeing with providing local grown produce to communities that just don't have it. So again, I was really encouraged to sit through that. I learned a lot from it, and again, it just got me deeper into what we already have, maybe a little bit of refining based on what some other towns did. I really liked what they proposed, and hopefully we can have those discussions in the future.
Yep. I thought it was very good training myself, too. Because I attended late and wasn't registered, if you wouldn't mind sending me the slides?
Absolutely.
And then I'll distribute them to the rest of the board. I know Rebecca was there yesterday, so I won't, you have to send
Get
me.
that out right now before it escapes my memory.
But I'll make sure that the rest of the board gets them as well.
It's a steel trap, isn't it?
Yeah, I do think it was a good training also. And I was impressed with what the town of Evans has done. Among others. Okay, well, at this point, I don't think there's anything else we need to discuss, so I am going to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Meeting adjourned. I should have used this one.
Does it say where?
It
where
does.
it was from?
It does.
It was one of the unified court systems.
Yeah.
There was also an issue about the size of the trees. Remember Jennifer Strong said it's more than 6-inch tree, and you're not supposed to remove it.
Have a bit.
Well, actually, there was they were about, I'll just put it 6'9". I'm not sure how that was gonna go.
You okay, Joe?
Yeah, I'm just saying, I thought Jennifer in that conference said that if the trees are a certain size,